What's cracking, y'all? Welcome back to the station. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, Ray G. You can find me on X at RayGQ. And if you come here looking for rookie content, damn it, you came to the right place, because I'm going to talk to you about 5 rookies whose stock should be through the roof, and 5 rookies we should be very concerned about moving forward, especially in seasonal leagues. Dynasty, we'll talk a little bit about that and how we should think about these players moving forward, but talking about specifically the 2023 season. So let's stop the music. We appreciate Thunderstruck, but we've got to get into the show. If it's your first time over here on the channel, appreciate you being here. Give me a little bit of your time. If you stick around to the end of the video and you find the information actionable and or entertaining, hit that thumbs up button, like and subscribe to the content. Helps the channel grow. Comment below. Let me know what you think about these rookies. But let's dive into it. And I'll be looking at some of the data, utilizing one of the tools from Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life website, fantasylife.com. Dwayne McFarland, good friend of mine, and his utilization tool over on the site. Fantastic. It's free. It's dope. So we're going to pull that up and talk through some of the rookies that have definitely impressed and performed so far, and some that have underperformed that we should be pretty concerned about moving forward this year for fantasy football purposes. So let's pull it up right now, and there we go. There's Dwayne McFarland. We've got the website pulled up. It's the utilization tool over on My Fantasy Life, and I want to start out by talking about a player that we've continued to talk about, his running mate on the Trinity Report show that comes out tomorrow. We continue to talk about that. And I'm talking about Michael Wilson, the wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals. This is a rookie who scored 2 touchdowns this past Sunday, and he finished the week as the wide receiver, I believe, 6 or 7 in PPR formats. Wide receiver 6 in PPR formats. He finished the week very productive, very good. But let's dive into Michael Wilson and talk about some of the things that we're noticing from a usage standpoint that we should be encouraged by, or maybe some things that we're a little bit still on the fence about. So we see in week 4, ran about the same amount of routes that he ran in week 3. Good thing about Arizona, Josh Dobbs is playing better football. There are a couple of Cardinals that I want on my rosters, and Michael Wilson is one of those. 74% route participation, 17% target share, which is significantly less than what Hollywood Brown is seeing on the season. He's seeing close to 30% target share on the season, which is phenomenal. We will be talking about him on the Trinity tomorrow. On the season for Michael Wilson, about 14% target share, but what ended up happening in week 4 that has not happened since week 2 is he had over 20% targets per route run, which when you're running the routes, are you actually being targeted by the quarterback? And that did happen for Michael Wilson in week 4. He is getting some of the air yard usage. You look at Rondale Moore not getting any, so you don't have to worry about him from a target or downfield perspective. Zach Pascal, nothing through the air, and Greg Dortch, nothing through the air. So when Josh Dobbs does decide to throw the ball deep, it's either going to Hollywood Brown or Michael Wilson. This is a player who does profile like a prototypical X wide receiver. When you think about the size and the athleticism from that type of receiver, he fits the mold. He's over 6'1". He's over 210 pounds. He's a big player. He's a big wide receiver in an offense that has seemingly looked a lot better than we even thought it could look this season. So when I'm thinking about some of the rookies, or 5 rookies that have definitely increased their stock, and players that in a seasonal redraft format you could probably roll out there as a flex play, Michael Wilson qualifies as one of those rookies. So Michael Wilson, big time stock up for him and what he's been able to do so far through his early rookie campaign. Another player, and we have not shown a ton of love to the tight end position, but one of the tight ends who is just getting it done no matter what is Sam LaPorta from the Detroit Lions. Sam LaPorta is the best rookie tight end that we have from the 2023 class right now. Love me some Dalton Kincaid, but there's no doubt about it. Sam LaPorta, if you're talking about having one tight end from the class, it's Sam LaPorta, and there are a lot of people in Dynasty who already have him ranked as the Dynasty tight end 1, which means the community value and the community sentiment on Sam LaPorta is very strong, very high. Let's just take a look at him versus his other tight end counterparts. There is no comparison. There's no other tight end in Detroit that's running any type of routes that's significant. Brock Wright, 39% route participation, 0 targets per route run for the season. Nothing from him. Nothing from James Mitchell. It is nothing from anybody outside of Sam LaPorta, who's running 71% of the routes. He's earning a 19% target share and 23% of the targets per route run. Also, 21% air yard share in week 4 for Sam LaPorta on the season. 26% targets per route run, incredible for a rookie. And then 22% target share, loving it from Sam LaPorta. Now, the Detroit Lions do get back Jameson Williams this week, so let's just take a look offensively from the wide receivers, where all the targets and valuable stuff going. Amon-Ra doing his thing, 23% target share in week 4, 27% overall. But Josh Reynolds, 15% overall. Marvin Jones, nothing there. Khalif Raymond on the season, about 9% of the targets, and nobody else getting anything. So when we're looking at this Lions offense, there is great reason to be excited about Sam LaPorta, who is currently profiling as the wide receiver 2 on this team. You look at some of the running backs. Okay, there's quite a few targets going to Gibbs, about 14% on the season for Jahmyr Gibbs, getting about 44 routes on the season for Gibbs overall. This is bullish for Sam LaPorta. For me, Dalton Kincaid was the top guy coming into this class, but there's no doubt about it. If you have Sam LaPorta right now, he is a plug-and-play, locked and loaded starting tight end, a top tight end option. Have to play him every week. There's no matchup dependency with Sam LaPorta. This is a player that in Dynasty, he probably is valued or should be valued top 5, no doubt, maybe even as high as top 3. I would say he's pretty much locked into the top 3. Mark Andrews, Sam LaPorta, whether that's Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelce, or Dalton Kincaid, those should be the highest valued tight ends in the Dynasty landscape. Luckily, Sam LaPorta getting it done for us in Dynasty and in seasonal format. So Sam LaPorta, Michael Wilson, big-time stock up after week 4. And then, of course, everybody's favorite running back now, Devonta Achane, a player that we've loved on this channel, talked about him being one of the rookies that would put everybody's process to the test because of the size. He's not the biggest running back. We know he's only 180-something pounds, but the speed is incredible. And he was able to put it on wax again in his second game, really getting touches for the Miami Dolphins. So let's pull up the utilization report and take a look at Mr. Achane and what he's actually doing on the season. So let's pull that up, bring that down. Boom, Devonta Achane. No Salvon Ahmed in there. He is not doing anything, so we don't have to worry about Ahmed. And Raheem Mostert had 2 fumbles, losing one of them on the week. In week 4, we saw Devonta Achane. It's not Achane, it's Achane. Take 66% of the running back snaps opposed to Raheem Mostert's 41% in a game that they needed to win and needed to have it versus the Buffalo Bills. In that performance, what did he go on to do? Well, another 100-yard game, finishing the week as the RB5 in PPR. The big question is, can this continue? Can he sustain this level of production on low volume? Because he's been extremely efficient through the first 2 games of him really getting significant touches in this backfield. And the answer to that question, in my opinion, is probably not on a week-to-week basis. However, when it does happen, this is the type of player that you do not want to have out of your lineups for when it does happen. Do I expect him to get 2-3 touchdowns a week, rip off 50-yard runs every week? Absolutely not. But he's got the talent and the skill set to do that. So a player like Devonta Achane, am I going to propel him inside the top 10 running backs for fantasy football this season? Why not? Why not? Right now, all the names that we love, all these names, and they're not producing the game. The Ramondre Stevensons. Yes, Josh Jacobs had a lot of volume, scored a touchdown, but he's been underwhelming this year. The list goes on and on and on from these elite level running backs that we drafted to be the studs, and they're not getting it done. Give the young dogs some chance. I'm even considering having Achane versus the Giants as my RB1 weekly this week. My weekly rankings are posted on DestinationDevy.com every single week. Right now, Christian McCaffrey versus Dallas, Achane versus the Giants. Bijan Robinson has a plus matchup as well. Achane will be a top 5 back for me on the week and could be my RB1. So fire him up with full confidence if you can trade anything to get him. I'm telling you right now, I was asked the question, Ray, what would you trade for the next rookie? And I'll give you some things that I would do. But Devonta Achane, if I can give up Tony Pollard to get Achane plus, doing it. Saquon Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson, you name them in that top cluster. Josh Jacobs, I'd trade all of those guys for Achane plus something else because that's what you should be able to get. You should be able to move Tony Pollard for Achane plus, Jahmyr Gibbs for Achane plus. Ramondre Stevenson, maybe you're going to have to give something with Ramondre to get Devonta Achane, but I want this player, seasonal, dynasty. He is the epitome of a true home run threat in today's game. So Devonta Aden, big fan of him. Do not believe that what he did was a blip on the radar. Am I anticipating, again, that level of consistency and the efficiency? No, but he's got the talent to do it. So stock up for him majorly. Who else do we have on the list? Yes, 2 quarterbacks that we have to talk about. How could I forget? We can't do a show and not talk about CJ Stroud, who continues to just make it happen. This young rookie quarterback is so good, and the Houston Texans are so fortunate to have been in a position where they weren't thinking about taking Bryce Young number 1 overall. They did win that final game, and they were able to fall into CJ Stroud, who has just been phenomenal. I believe there's a stat out there that there is no quarterback in NFL history who's thrown for more yards to start their career than CJ Stroud. And he's doing it with the Houston Texans offensive line that is not protecting him very well. But you just look at what he's doing. And then in week 4, yards per attempt, the highest it's been. It's been creeping up every week. Remember preseason? Week 1, everybody was panicked. Oh my God, CJ Stroud looked awful versus the New England Patriots in 3 series. He's a bust every week. Look at the completion percentage, right? A little bit down in week 4, but that thing was 64%, 67%, drop down to 53% in week 4. But the yards per attempt, he's getting more confident. 5.5 yards, 8.1 yards, 9.3 yards. And this week, almost 10.5 yards per attempt. This is what I'm talking about. And they're letting him throw the ball. They are letting him push the ball down weak. You see the ADOT, the average depth of target, 8.6, higher than the 8.2 in week 3, a little lower than week 2, where he had 12 ADOT, and then 6.7 to start the season out. CJ Stroud is playing out of his mind. This is a young quarterback who has quickly risen up the dynasty rankings. And if you have him in redraft, there are 2 rookie quarterbacks that you can roll out there in redraft. And I do believe that CJ Stroud, when you're thinking about all this other garbage that we're rolling out week in and week out, hell, even some big names like a Joe Burrow, I'm more confident in starting CJ Stroud moving forward with Houston than I am a Joe Burrow, than I am Daniel Jones, than I am a lot of these guys, Ryan Tannehill, Kenny Pickett, anybody from the New Orleans Saints. Give me this rookie quarterback over any of those guys. So it's not that his stock can go much lower, but man, I still think that we're only at the beginning of where his stock can go from a value perspective. And the final rookie quarterback that I want to talk about, no surprise, it's Indianapolis Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, who made his way back to the field after missing a week with a concussion. And what did he do upon returning? He finished as the QB4 on the week with 28 QB PPR points. And if you play in league that rewards first downs or rush attempts, he got you even more than that. And he's doing it with only throwing the ball 25 times. He had 25 attempts, completed 11 of those. So from a passing perspective, wasn't a ton, right? But the rushing is what you want from Anthony Richardson. I thought he was en route to a 100-yard day. He escaped the game injury-free. In points per game, he's sitting at number 2 overall as a top 5 quarterback as a rookie. Now, I know a lot of people probably drafted him to be your QB2 on some of these seasonal leagues. If you've got a big name like a Joe Burrow, like a Trevor Lawrence, like, mention another high-end caliber quarterback that most people thought could be their starter, and you've got a Rich Chilling as your second quarterback, you could probably make a pivot. Get off one of those quarterbacks. Roll this young man out there. If you want to realize these points, you see PPR, week 1, QB4. Week 2, gets injured in week 2, but he started that thing off looking like he was going to be the damn QB1. Finished still as a top 24 quarterback, and he only played a quarter of football. So this is a player that is a locked and loaded plug-and-play starter that you may have on your rosters as your QB2. If that's the case, try to trade the QB1. Roll out Anthony Richardson week after week. Things are going to be just fine in Indianapolis with this quarterback. So when you're talking about 5 rookies that are truly, truly impactful players for us right now, and we did not mention Puka Nacua, who is just there. He is right there. There's no doubt about it. He's solidified. Puka's dope. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, you can start those guys right now in seasonal formats. And if you have them as backups, either trade them, keep your starter, or trade your starter and keep them. We also have Michael Wilson, who's getting more run alongside Hollywood Brown, and an offense that seems to be gaining confidence with Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. Devonta Aden, RB1 in Miami, rock with them, roll with them week in, week out. Sam LaPorta has been incredible from the tight end position. Now I want to spend a little bit of time talking about 5 rookies who need to be tumbling down the seasonal ranks. And if you're talking about if they are busts at this point in time, well, probably not what we expected when we drafted those guys. So let's start this thing off talking about one of the favorites from everybody. And my goodness, I spent a lot of capital drafting this player in round 5 of underdog drafts in the summer. But Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and we're going to hang around in Seattle for a little bit to talk about 2 players from the Seahawks. But let's talk about JSN, who a lot of people expected and thought would be able to come in and pull opportunity away from DK Metcalf, from Tyler Lockett. And when you're watching these games, it's just not coming to fruition. He's being targeted, but not in the end zone. The most concerning thing is the yards per route run for Jaxon Smith-Njigba is 0.7, sub 1 yard per route run. Not good. Air yard share, terrible. I'll talk more about this on the Trinity Report, but you take a look at what he's done throughout the season compared to DK Metcalf, 89% of the routes. You look at Tyler Lockett, another 89% of the routes on the season, 86% in week 4, 89 in week 4 for DK, 87 on the season. JSN significantly less. He's not even running. He's all these, 66% of routes run for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. You look at his targets per route run, 20%. It's better than DK Metcalf and right in line with Tyler Lockett. Not bad. His target share, 17% on the season. That's lower than DK's 20. That's lower than Tyler Lockett's 23. But the ADOT, and the air yard share, you see this 7% on the season. The ADOT for him, 3.3. Look at Tyler Lockett, 12.38. DK Metcalf, 14.4. Both of those guys have 37% air yard shares on the season. 37%. So when I'm looking at these 2, those are the 2 you want. JSN, what we're doing week in and week out is jamming him in our lineups, praying for a touchdown, praying for this big blow up where he's just volumed and targeted to death. And y'all, I don't think we're going to see that this year. And we kind of knew that coming into the season where, man, there's 2 established veterans here. It's probably going to be difficult for a predominantly slot receiver to come in and just usurp these 2. Yet we did still go ahead and draft with the notion that he could do it. Well, you know what? It's 4 weeks into the season and it hasn't happened. I highlight out it's going to happen. This is a player that I'd be all over in Dynasty trying to purchase. But any seasonal format, until he does it, you cannot start JSN. You're putting your team in a hole, rolling him out every week. If you've got league mates who are still excited and enthusiastic about him for this season, trade him. Get it done. Go try to get Hollywood Brown. I know this sounds crazy. Go try to get an Adam Thielen plus for your JSN for this season, because absent an injury to DK Metcalf and or Tyler Lockett, the opportunity is probably going to be slim pickings for him. Now, one of those guys goes down, you probably have a plug-and-play wide receiver 3 on your hands with some upside. But absent that happen, I think you can package him up, get some players that are actually going to be usable for you throughout the season and realize those points. On this same team, a lot of hype and enthusiasm around rookie running back Zach Charbonnet, and I'm here to tell you it ain't happening. It's the Kenneth Walker show. Kenneth Walker has been very good, finishing as the RB15 in PPR formats, RB3 before that, RB13 the week before that, and RB24. So he's been a top 24 running back every week of the season. He's been top 15 4 times, and he's been top 5 once. So on the season, he's sitting at RB5. This is the guy, Zach Charbonnet. The snap share for the season is not there. The rush attempt share, not there. The routes and the route participation, none of it is there. Love Zach Charbonnet, the prospect, but there's no doubt the leader in this backfield is Kenneth Walker. I've got Charbonnet in a bunch of spots, chilling on the bench. He's one of those guys you don't want to drop, because if something were to happen to Walker, Charbonnet should be next man up. But damn, they still roll DJ Dallas out there in passing situations. So it's one of those things with these rookie running backs, to be one that actually comes in and commands the opportunity is a rarity. That's why I'm all in on Achane, and this is why I am all out on Kendre Miller for seasonal leagues. I told people the moment Alvin Kamara came back, Kendre Miller was no longer a thing, and he really wasn't a thing even when Kamara was gone. But now that he's back, he's really not going to be a thing absent an injury. Outsnapped by Tony Jones. He had 5 offensive snaps last week in week 4. 8% snap share, 6% rush attempt share. Nothing from the routes, nothing from the targets. It's Alvin Kamara, and that's what it's going to be. So if you drafted him in redraft leagues, even if Kamara were to go down, get traded, right now it's hard for me to realize the path and see the opportunity for Kendre in 2023. Jamal Williams just chilling, waiting to come off of IR. And once he's back, they'll throw him right back out there. Even Tony Jones, with Alvin Kamara back on the field, operated as the RB2, 16% of the snaps. He didn't get any rush attempts. He ran 19% of the routes, no targets. He's the one that they have on the field. So Kendre Miller, I like the talent. Big fan of the talent. One of my top running backs in the 2023 class. But the reality is we're not trying to sell ourselves a hope and a dream. We're trying to be real here. There's not a lot of room for him to grow in this offense outside of an injury. And even then, the New Orleans Saints have already shown us that they really don't want to throw Kendre Miller out there. And we like the player, love the player, but when you see him out there, it's tough to figure out and find a path for him to actually be usable for us. So in Dynasty, if you want to grab him along the notion that maybe things get better next year or later this season, they just roll him out there to see what they have, then go ahead and get you some Kendre Miller. But do not start him. Do not trade for him in seasonal leagues. I'm good. You can drop him, and if something happens to Kamara, maybe you got the highest waiver priority claim, you can go back and get him, one of those type of deals. But no way am I trying to go pay for Kendre Miller right now in seasonal formats. And this is a player that everybody talked about, another rookie that's just trending down for me. Quentin Johnston, wide receiver for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, they're on a bye week right now. Justin Herbert has a finger broken, but apparently he's not gonna miss any time with that. But when they come off a bye, I mean, I assume that Austin Eckler should be there. I think he should be there. He might be there. But I'm looking at what Quentin Johnston has done, and it inspires zero confidence out of me to either want to take a shot on him in seasonal leagues. Even in dynasty leagues, I'm very hesitant on what I've seen so far from Quentin Johnston. You look at him. You see the route participation was low going into this week, but check this out. He got there, right? QJ, 68% route participation share. Big fan of that, all right? He's out there running routes. 13% target share, not good. ADOT, we like that. The air yard share, 19%. Had a couple of end zone targets. I just... 3 PPR points. I think he caught 2 passes, dropped 1. This is not good. I am not giving up hope yet. We're not giving up hope. But when I'm seeing a Darius Davis go out there and they're trying to get him involved a little bit. Hell, he scored just as many points, more points than Quentin Johnston on the week, right? And I know some of that. Darius Davis, he's fast. They let him run the ball out of the backfield. He lined up in the backfield in that game. QJ's got one more week. One more week from me before I'm like, look, let's go ahead and make a pivot here. They still want to use Josh Palmer. Keenan Allen is there. They didn't even throw the ball a lot this week, and they did not try to get him involved at all. 97% route participation from Palmer and Keenan Allen. You've got Josh Kelly getting involved in the receiving game. It just seems like the stage is a little too big for QJ at the moment, but he's a first-round rookie wide receiver. They've got to get him involved in this offense, so I'm not all the way out yet, but damn, it's getting close. It is very nerve-wracking watching what's happening in this offense with Quentin Johnston, their first-round receiver. Could talk a little bit about Jordan Addison, who had a down game, but I'm saving him as a true faller. Addison is going to be Addison. It's Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson. But the final player I want to talk about was somebody that we highlight. We've talked about over the past couple of rookie reports and very bullish on last week, and it just didn't happen. And quite frankly, the way that this team is playing, the way that it's operating, it may not happen. It may not happen for a couple of more weeks because their running back, the starting running back, did have a solid performance. So let's move on to the final player, final rookie we're going to talk about, and that's Chicago Bears rookie running back Roschon Johnson, who saw his lowest snap share of the season, dropped almost over double, from 45% snaps and 45 and 55 from Khalil Herbert to 79% of the snaps from Khalil Herbert to 21% for Roschon Johnson. Deontay Foreman wasn't active. No other running back touched the ball. No Travis Homer, none of that. They used some other things. Justin Fields runs the ball. DJ Moore, they don't mind handing him or Tyler Scott the ball in the backfield. But you look at the rush attempt share, 60% to 17% for Roschon Johnson. The routes went significantly down. The lowest across the board. Targets, route participation, targets per route run, everything was the lowest that he got. Now, he did get an inside the 5 carry. I was praying that he converted it. I needed for a damn prop bet. Didn't happen. But this is not what we wanted to see. So he is not the number one rookie that I'm fading or most concerned about. I would rank that Kendre Miller, probably Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnston, Zach Charbonnet, and then Roschon Johnson is the 5 that I'm very, very scared of for seasonal formats. I still like Roschon. I think he's a buy. Coming off this week with Khalil Herbert, went on and finished the week with 22 PPR points, I'd be trying to buy some Roschon Johnson. I do believe that he's still the most talented running back in that backfield. His opportunity is coming, but I got to be objective. After week 4, this was a big letdown, a big stock down for Roschon Johnson. We're hoping for the breakout. Did not happen. So there you go. 5 players and a little bit more that I am excited about moving forward in seasonal leagues, and then 5 players who have disappointed and we probably need to start to move on from in seasonal formats. So appreciate you being here, tapping into the Rookie Report. I'm excited. The Trinity episode dropping tomorrow. You see right there on the screen, we got a big one tomorrow. Brandon Ayuk, Hollywood Brown. We're going to talk about him in one of my favorite buys from the Green Bay Packers. So stay tuned to that for tomorrow's show. If you appreciated the content, you found it actionable and or entertaining, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, like the content, comment below. Let me know which rookies have impressed you. Who do you want to see more of? And who are you sick of seeing from the rookie class? And you're done, want to move on, want nothing to do with it. So I appreciate you tapping in. Y'all stay locked into the station, locked into the channel, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.